Model guns in Japan profiled by Lucifer 7922. Compare the capabilities of CP and PFC. In the video, evaluate cartridges for model guns. Marusian Industries 9mm PFC full size and my own MP40 cartridge were evaluated. However, it is impossible to compare the two, because one is a manufacturer's mass-produced product and the other is a personal handmade product. So this time, I decided to compare products from different manufacturers. The size of the cartridge to be compared is 45 ACP, and the manufacturers are MGC and Marusian Industry. MGC cartridges are called CP, which is an acronym for cap piston. Also, the cartridge made by Marusian Industry is called PFC, which is an acronym for plug fire cartridge. In this video, the manufacturer name is omitted, and if it is made by MGC, CP is added in front of the cartridge size and it is written as CP 45 ACP. Also, in the case of Marusian Industry, PFC is added in front and it is written as PFC 45 ACP. Don't forget this rule. Therefore, even if the size is different, if it says PFC 9mm full size, please understand that it is made by Marusian Industry. Let's take a look at the cartridge. The left side is the CP45 ACP package and the right side is the PFC 45 ACP package. The top is made by MGC and the bottom is made by Marusian Industry. Can you distinguish which product by just the notation? I believe you're okay and move on. By the way, in this video, I will not explain in detail the difference between each structure. However, both are drawn. If you want to take a closer look, please see the blog. Earlier I said, I won't explain the structural differences this time, but there is one difference that you need to know first. It is a pressurized stroke. The pressurized stroke of the cartridge used this time is 11.3mm for PFC 45 ACP and 12.55mm for CP 45 ACP. By the way, the pressurized stroke of PFC 9mm full size evaluated in the previous video is 9.27mm. And the weight of the cartridge evaluation device used last time was 480 grams. The pressurized stroke of the two types of cartridges used this time is longer than that of the previous cartridge. This may exceed the measurement limit of the cartridge evaluation device. Therefore, we increased the weight by 150 grams to a total of 630 grams. Now that we are ready, we will start the evaluation test. First, test the PFC 9mm full size late model to ensure consistency with the previous test results. If the result is not extremely low, proceed to the test of the two types of cartridges to be compared this time. Start testing PFC 9mm full size late model. We were able to suppress each value to about 50% of the previous test results. It can be said that it is almost as intended. With this result, I decided to move on to the next step. I immediately tested PFC 45 ACP, but I had an unexpected trouble. I was worried about PFC. That is, there is a risk that the gas sealability will be lost if the axis of the plug and detonator is misaligned. I think that is the cause of this trouble. So, in the second test, I set the cartridge so that the plug was in the center of the detonator. Now, let's start the retest of PFC 45 ACP. For the time being, I finished the test without any trouble. After this, measures were taken for the plug, which will be described later. Now, let's start the test of CP45 ACP when it is calm. All the values of CP45 ACP are higher than PFC45 ACP. This is a natural result because the pressurized stroke is long. But what I feel more than that is the ease of handling. In the case of CP45 ACP, it is self-contained and does not need to be handled nervously. I have already had to acknowledge the superiority of CP45 ACP at this point. Looking at the cartridges after ignition, it was found that the difference in the test results between the two cartridges was not only the difference in the pressurized stroke length. CP45 ACP uses up the pressurized stroke length sufficiently, while PFC45 ACP does not use up the pressurized stroke length because the plug stops in the middle. As far as you can see, which cartridge do you think is more controllable? I think it's CP45 ACP. If you change the length of the pressurizing stroke, you should be able to change the ascending distance of the weight accordingly. Let's try it right away. Due to the structure, it is difficult to lengthen the pressurized stroke. However, it can be shortened by using a spacer. This time, let's try a cartridge with a pressurized stroke shortened by 2 mm and a cartridge with a shortened pressurized stroke by 5 mm using a simple spacer. Let's start with the 2 mm spacer first. Next is the 5 mm spacer. Since the number of trials is small, it cannot be said that it is definite, but if the pressurization stroke is shortened, the weight climbing distance tends to be shortened. Perhaps you can draw a calibration curve by expanding the setting range and increasing the number of trials. It is not a good idea to use a stainless steel washer to shorten the length of the pressurized stroke. As you can see from the image, the case of the cap gunpowder tears and causes a gas leak. Now, when I give a general review of CP45 ACP, I feel that it is easy to handle and has excellent controllability. This completes the verification of CP45 ACP. From here, we will resume the verification of PFC45 ACP, but let's see the effect by using different types of plugs like the previous work. Evaluate cartridges for model guns. The first thing I thought about trying was a combination of an old type plug and a detonator. This was diverted from the cartridge used for M712. The second is a combination of an old type plug and a new type detonator. The third is a combination of a new type plug with an inner diameter of 2.5 mm and a new type detonator. The fourth is a combination of a new type plug with chamfered holes and a new type detonator. This is a remedy for troubles when you first try. Finally, a combination of a new type plug that closes the hole and a new type detonator. This is done to know the maximum value of PFC 45 ACP. Now, let's verify while watching the measurement results. First is old type plug and old type detonator. This is the best number among the PFC 45 ACP I tried this time. The cause is unknown, but it's a very interesting result for me. It is well worth trying this combination even in actual use. However, even with this combination, the pressurized stroke was not used up. Also, the cap gunpowder after ignition has been shot through. The shot shape looks the same as the tip diameter of the detonator. Next is the combination of the old type plug and the new type detonator. Compared to the former old type plug and detonator combination, a slight decrease can be seen. However, it is higher than the standard type. Also, if you look at the deviation, it seems that it has improved considerably. All cap gunpowder after ignition has been shot through. The shot shape seems to depend on the hole diameter of the plug. The third is a combination of a new type plug with an inner diameter of 2.5 mm and a new type detonator. Again, the comparison target is the standard type of 2, but the numbers are very similar. Since there is no output reduction, this plug will not be a problem in actual use. The cap gunpowder after ignition has been shot through, but it is rarely a perfect circle. The fourth is a combination of a new type plug with chamfered holes and a new type detonator. I said this was improvement measures for troubles, but it was thought that the cause of the troubles was misalignment between the plug and the detonator. If the plug and detonator are in the state shown on the left, gas leaks from the gap between the plug and detonator at an early stage and the internal pressure cannot be stored. If the plug and detonator are in the state shown on the right, you should be able to store the internal pressure. I thought that chamfering the hole in the plug would lead the detonator to the center. Let's see the result. This cartridge is also compared with the standard type of 2. Each numerical value is considered to be equal to or higher than the standard type of 2. Also, the deviation is the best of the samples I tried this time. In the future, we would like to verify its effectiveness in actual use. All the cap gunpowder after ignition has been shot through, but it may be better to describe it as partially torn. It just releases the combustion gas. Finally, there is a combination of a new type plug that closes the hole and a new type detonator. The purpose of trying this was to know the maximum value of PFC 45 ACP. However, I am surprised at the completely unexpected result. It was the lowest among the PFC 45A CP I tried this time. It is almost the same as CP 45A CP 5mm spacer. I think that those who can predict this result are quite experienced. In addition, the pressurized stroke was used up even though the value was about this level. This is a double surprise. Naturally, the cap gunpowder after ignition has not been shot through. Only this was as expected. Why is the weight climbing distance short even though the pressurized stroke is used up? I hypothesized that the coefficient of dynamic friction increases due to excessive internal pressure. Think of the left figure as a plug with a closed hole and the right figure as a normal plug. A schematic diagram shows a state in which a little time has passed since the ignition, but in the case of a normal plug, it seems that gas leaks from the part that exploded from a fairly early stage. This may have suppressed the increase in the coefficient of friction. It was thought that the plug with the hole closed would push the cap explosive case against the inner wall of the cartridge much stronger than usual. It may be low speed or deceleration due to that. Of course, it's just my reasoning. What did you think? That's all for today. Thank you for watching until the end. See you soon. Goodbye.